You ever feel like the market's against you? Like every move you make, every breakout you chase, disappears before you can blink? That's the brutal truth. The market isn't neutral. It's a merciless machine, patient and deliberate, waiting for traders like you to act impulsively. You think you're in control, but in reality, you're walking into traps laid before you even saw them. The first step to survival is seeing the unseen. Understanding the snare is the start of thinking beyond the prey. Most traders never admit you are not trading against the market. You are the market's lunch. Every stop you place, every panic exit, every late chase of a breakout, it's all fuel for someone else's fire. Smart money doesn't care about your indicators. It doesn't care about your setups. It doesn't care about your hope. What they care about is you reacting predictably. That's right, your fear, your greed, your impatience, it's the most valuable asset on the tape. Picture this, the market as a grand chessboard. Every retail trader is a pawn. The big players don't just move pieces, they manipulate your moves, shaping the board before you even think. You think a breakout is real, but really it's a mirror reflecting the sum of every retail impulse. They place their orders to pull you in, to bait your stops, to collect what you unknowingly hand over. And the worst part, you're trained to do it yourself. It's not magic, it's psychological engineering. The moment you feel compelled to enter a trade, the market has already calculated the exact price to make you move. Every wick, every shake, every fake-out is designed to light up the exact neurons in your brain that scream, "Act now." You're predictable because humans are predictable. Fear and greed are universal constants. Hope is a cruel liar. Let's talk history for a second. Look at the flash crashes, the liquidity hunts, the massive institutional squeezes. Retail traders flooded in because they saw movement, volatility, opportunity. But what they didn't see was the invisible hands guiding them right into losses. That's the law of the game. The first loss is always the cheapest, and you pay it willingly if you don't understand the mechanics. Now imagine a world where you recognize this, where every time you feel that rush, that pull, that urge to click buy or sell, you pause, you observe, you see the setup for what it is, not a trade, but a trap. The moment you step out of the role of bait and become the observer, you gain the edge. You stop feeding the fire. You start controlling your mind before you even touch your mouse. So next time the tape whispers, next time the candle spikes, remember this, you are the liquidity. Every reaction you have can be weaponized against you, or it can become your shield. The choice is yours, but only if you see it coming. Like this video if this is hitting home. Let's pull back the curtain on the real objective of smart money. Hint, it's not profit from the charts. Charts don't bleed, humans bleed. Smart money doesn't trade price, they trade behavior. They observe how you react, how you fear, how you hope. Every order you place is a map to your psychology, and every wick they create is a beacon guiding you straight into the trap. Think about it as a predator studying prey. Lions don't just hunt, they study herd behavior. They notice the one that panics first, the one that chases blindly. Smart money is no different. Liquidity hunts, stop grabs, false breakouts, all meticulously orchestrated to extract your reaction. And you're providing the entertainment and the capital, completely unaware. Consider the four horsemen that run through every retail trader's account. Fear, greed, hope, ego. They ride in formation, dictating your every move. The moment your fear tightens your chest, your greed whispers in your ear, your ego screams, "I can beat this," you act. And that action is exactly what they want. The tape whispers a story, and if you listen blindly, you become part of their script. Smart money's hidden agenda is simple: make you predictable, make you emotional, make you bite the hook. They wait for the moments where human nature will betray logic, and they execute with precision.
Every institutional move is backed by patience, observation, and understanding of mass psychology. It's why indicators and strategies don't matter. They only amplify human error. Now, imagine if you could flip the script. What if instead of being the reactive prey, you became the calm observer? Every move you make becomes intentional. Every trigger you feel becomes a data point, not a command. The big money is not made in buying or selling. It is made in the sitting. Observe, wait, let others act while you prepare. Your psychology becomes the trade. And here's the kicker. The hidden agenda of smart money is only hidden to those who act first. If you act last, you're the meal. If you wait, you survive. This isn't theory, this is brutal reality. Once you internalize this, you start seeing liquidity zones not as targets, but as warnings. Every wick not as opportunity, but as a message. And that message? Don't feed the machine with your emotion. Subscribe for more no BS trading lessons if this is clicking with you, because understanding the agenda is the first step to escaping it. Humans are wired to react, not reflect, and the market, it exploits this with surgical precision. Fear, greed, hope, ego, they are the levers that smart money pulls to perfection. You think you're trading price, but you're trading emotion. Every sudden spike, every wick that shakes your screen, every fake breakout, it's designed to trigger your response. Picture standing on the edge of a cliff. Everyone else jumps, and your brain screams, "Jump too!" That rush, that impulse, that's greed. Then the market pulls the ladder away. You panic. That's fear. That combination, that's exactly what they're waiting for. Every emotional reaction you have is a profit line on someone else's chart. It's not evil, it's natural. Human psychology hasn't evolved to handle invisible predators manipulating abstract numbers. Hope keeps you in, fear pulls you out, ego convinces you it's your intelligence, and smart money, they thrive in that predictable storm. It's like a fisherman reading the river, waiting where the fish naturally swim. You are the fish. The key is observation. Feel your triggers without acting. Recognize the urge, name it, and step back. The first loss is always the cheapest. If you react emotionally, you're paying tuition. If you pause, observe, and wait, you start stripping the trap of its power. Capital is ammunition. Patience is the shield. The longer you resist the pull, the sharper your edge becomes. Every time you react, you feed the machine. Every time you pause, you deny it. That's the paradox of emotional trading. Control your mind, control your fate. The tape whispers, but only the calm can hear. Only the patient can act with intent. And that's how you begin to outthink the predators.
Retail traders get caught because they repeat the same mistakes over and over. Patterns of behavior are predictable. Chasing breakouts, overtrading, doubling down on losses, all rooted in human nature. Smart money counts on it. They rely on habitual responses, on fear, greed, and hope dictating your every click. Think about the cycle. A spike occurs, hope whispers, you enter late, panic hits, and your stop is grabbed. The same scenario repeats hundreds of times across thousands of retail accounts. And you think it's luck. It isn't. It's design. The market is never wrong. Opinions often are. It's a machine running on human error. Indicators give you a false sense of control. Candles and moving averages don't punish you. They only measure your reaction. The trap isn't technical, it's psychological. Every misstep is predictable, and every repeat behavior reinforces their edge. Retail is caught not because the market is clever, it's because humans are predictable, emotional, and impulsive. The cure? Awareness, observation, recognition. Understanding why you react is the first step to breaking the cycle. Like this video if this hits home. Awareness is the first weapon in your survival kit. Once you see the patterns in yourself, you start anticipating the trap instead of walking into it blindly. Most traders think the market speaks through charts, candles, and indicators. They're wrong. The market doesn't shout, it whispers. And if you're too busy staring at lines and patterns, you miss the quiet signals, the subtle nudges that reveal where traps lie.
Every wick, every sudden shake, every false breakout carries intention, but you can't hear it unless you slow down, unless you stop reacting and start observing. Think of it like a river. You can't see the current at first glance. You only notice the swirl if you pay attention, only feel the undercurrent if you stop swimming blindly. That swirl is liquidity moving. Those invisible currents are smart money signaling where the next trap will spring. And most traders, they're cannonballs in that river, bouncing around, letting it carry them straight into the net. Look closer. When a wick spikes beyond resistance only to snap back, when volume surges suddenly without follow-through, when stops cluster in a predictable zone, you're seeing signs, subtle but powerful. Smart money doesn't need to force a move. They just set the stage, wait for your emotional reflex, and then execute. That spike, that shake, that moment of opportunity you chased, it wasn't meant for you. It was meant to flush you out. Retail traders miss these cues because they don't understand the psychology behind them. The signals are not technical, they are behavioral. Every stop grabbed, every sudden pull, every fake breakout is a psychological message. This is where we know you'll react. This is where your fear and greed will betray you. You are predictable because humans are predictable. And the market? It's a mirror showing exactly what it wants you to do.
Here's where discipline comes in. Observing without reacting, seeing the signal but not touching it is the hardest skill in trading. You have to feel the tension, notice the liquidity, acknowledge the manipulations, but do nothing. That pause, that stillness, strips the trap of its power. You start seeing not opportunities to chase, but warnings to respect. And over time, the whispers become audible. You start anticipating the moves, not reacting to them. You learn to read the market's language, a language written in fear, greed, hope, and human emotion. You become the observer, not the prey. Every trap becomes a lesson. Every wick, every spike, every fake-out becomes a teacher. And once you master this, the market stops hunting you. Here's the shift you need. Stop being prey and start thinking like the hunters. The big players aren't in a rush. They don't chase. They observe. They study the mass psychology of retail traders, the predictable emotional pulses that drive every click of the mouse. Smart money trades patience before it trades price. Their weapon is observation. Their shield is discipline. Imagine sitting by a river watching the fish swim. You don't dive in immediately. You wait. You notice where the currents carry the prey. You understand the patterns, the timing, the subtle ripples that reveal behavior. That's how smart money approaches the market. Every wick, every liquidity zone, every cluster of stops is observed, not reacted to. You can't imitate their size, but you can imitate their mindset. It starts with awareness. Recognize your triggers, name your impulses. Every surge of fear or greed is a signal, not a command. Pause, watch, learn. The big money is not made in buying or selling, it is made in the sitting. When you internalize this, you stop reacting to every spike, every candle, every rumor. You trade with intention, not compulsion. Discipline becomes your edge. Patience is the shield that protects your capital. Smart money doesn't need luck. They need timing, psychology, and control. And you can adopt the same approach, scaled to your size. Observe how liquidity moves, predict the emotional reflexes of retail traders, step back from the crowd, let others overreact while you sit quietly, ready to act only when conditions align with logic and preparedness. This mindset doesn't come overnight, it's a practice. Journaling your emotional responses, reviewing every reaction, noting where you chased or panicked. These small acts build the psychological muscles needed to think like smart money. You begin to anticipate rather than react. You start seeing the trap before it snaps. And slowly, the market stops hunting you because you no longer act like prey. Capital is ammunition. Patience is the shield. Every impulsive action you resist, every emotional trigger you manage, strengthens your edge. Eventually, trading becomes a game of foresight rather than reaction. You're no longer a participant in chaos. You're an observer, a strategist, a patient hunter. And that's how the big players think. That's how you survive. And eventually, that's how you thrive. Here's the takeaway. Control your mind, not the market. Recognize your triggers, observe without reacting, and never let emotion dictate your trades. Understand liquidity, respect psychology, and internalize patience. The market is never wrong, opinions often are. Step out of the trap, become the observer, and let the tape whisper its secrets. Survival isn't about strategy, it's about mindset. Like, subscribe, and share with someone who needs this reality. Your edge isn't in action, it's in awareness.